Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So soon I will conduct the science update that I promised you for a couple of days now. I wanted to, relate to the current conditions or state of affairs. I would say that my feeling is that it doesn't really matter what I say because people abroad, they don't care enough to move a leg or an arm, and people in Israel, they really don't listen. They do not care at all. Their view of myself, not only me, but anyone, is just, as a behavioral creature, like a creature that is only behaves, and it doesn't matter what they say at all. And in general, language for the Israelis is something, it's kind of a weapon. It's not something that is used to communicate, but just to attack and to defend. So, just showing them in the amount of nanobots that they create every day and throwing it away to the garbage is enough. It conveys everything that you need to know, and I'll keep doing it day after day because it's the only thing that gets the message, like somewhere. When you speak, the interpretation is that okay, if he speaks about it, then they have all sort of psychological convoluted pseudo explanation that are always aimed at escaping from reality and also escaping from basic moral principles. That is something that is extremely Israeli, and it's particularly something that identifies the Titans, and especially those that are somewhat related to, let's call, advising or psychology or things like that. They try to deny basic morality, or deny basic human or these facts about the world by all sort of pseudo psychological explanation. So they will say, okay, well, if he's telling us that he will never give us one nanobot and explains why, it means that he is about to be soon we will break him and he will give us everything, because why else does he talk about it? That's the kind of explanation that they give you, always, no matter what. And if he is tired of million people that try to suggest or to plainly say that he's homosexual, even though he's it's so obvious that he's not. He's completely straight, and it was demonstrated throughout all his life. So and if he says stop this lunacy, stop lying about me, they will interpret it as, well, he's the fact that it bothers him is because that in kind of a hidden layer he's latent or homosexual. So it's always like that. No matter how much truth will just kick their face, they will find a way to subvert it using pseudo psychological explanations. I want to address, but nevertheless, I want to address very, very simple and short issue. A key aspect that I understood regarding the Titan females in Israel is that not all of them have a human master, like a scumbag pedophile master. Some are just, I would say, single, but it's not legally single, but because this is, as we know, the legal status of the marital status doesn't mean anything at all. It's all fake anyway. But in a more deep way, it's that they don't have a rider or a bicycle companion, and they just free roaming, do whatever pretty much whatever they want, even though they still have chip in the head, and they're still subject to torture of the medical experimentation and things like that. But they don't have a captain. And of course, that was not always like that. That was one of the consequences of the last episode that I've spoken about it. It occurred before I was born, most probably. So I cannot say that they are free, but they're still slave and they cannot speak about the reality, but they can choose their master and they can choose not to have a master, and they're still slaves of the state, but they don't have a specific person that rides them. But the fact is most do choose to have a captain, and this is because they want money, because this always comes with financial gain. It's always like that. And specifically because access to this captain also gives them access to the things that they stole from me. And it causes them to produce the tea that they sell for a lot of money, of course, always in an indirect way, but still it gets them very rich. So the fact is that not one of them ever thought that I deserved the money. No one gave me one shekel throughout all my life. And of course, that this tea or coffee or whatever that they produce, I've never given even like a taste of it, never. So I have received 0% of the money and 0% of the material that 100% of it was generated because of me. And not one of them saw that there is a problem with that. And they knew that I exist. It's impossible to say that they did. Of course they knew that I exist. The fact that they eat the stuff, gave them a lot of knowledge about me, just the fact that they've eaten it. And they are not completely slaves because the fact is that several choose not to have any human master, which was not always the fact. In the past, it wasn't like that. In the past, even one captain could have 5 or 7 Venusian slaves, in the 60s and the 70s. And there was not such a concept of masterless or captainless slave. So they choose their masters, and they do it for money mostly. Or maybe they like to be the horse of pedophiles, scumbags, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised because, when you know what you know about them. And maybe they also have sex with them. Unlikely because they are all of them are pedophiles, but maybe they have sex with other men that they know, using these connections, and they treat themselves using, of course, the stuff to fix their medical issues, even though I admit this is extremely dangerous and probably most do not do it. But I wouldn't be surprised if some actually use this kind of trade, material trade to have free sexual intercourses with whoever they want, and then to try to treat themselves with the material. It is, of course, it's very dangerous, but maybe they do it. And what every one of them, the last one, didn't do is to give me anything in return, anything. And that's a fact. And regarding those that live outside of Israel, because there are quite a bit of those, some just don't know anything about nothing. And for these, it's hard for me to actually come in any complaint, because if they really don't know anything, then they are not in any way, they are detached from all these issues, so whatever. But quite a few actually receive the material from Israel because they also sold it. And I don't understand, why didn't you ask them where did it come from? And for certain, some knew about that it comes from a person, because, as I said, and this is one of the first things that I always repeat it, because this is one of my first discoveries back in 2018. I understand that there is a dyeing process. The Israelis paint me in a disgusting way, and so there should have been clients to this process. And these clients were certainly the intelligence services of other countries, including the Titan females. That is, obvious, and it was obvious right from the beginning. So, if there is a dyeing process, they knew about me, and they didn't think that, that it's their business to give me money or to give me the material that they produce. That it wasn't in the agenda at all. I should have, again, from there, and even during the last couple of years, where everybody that wants to know, because I speak about it plainly and I shout out the truth. They only adopted, the new, and I've already spoken about the agenda of the conceptualization of the Simba the Lion King or the Little Prince. Presumably, it's good that he will not have any money because we don't want to spoil him or to corrupt him. He should be innocent and pure as he is. When he will grow up, he will be king. Meantime, it's okay that all his money is transferred to the Nazis, and he should be given only advices and a consultation. This is evil. This is extremely evil, and I cannot forgive that. So, yes, I don't care at all if all the Titan females will, perish because they don't get the stuff that I sold to the garbage, because it's not my interest that they will continue to give money and material to the Nazis. They should have given it to me, and no one, not even one, gave it to me. And it's not true that they are completely slaves. Maybe it was like that in the past, but since the late 70s, it's not exactly like that. I wouldn't say that they are free citizens. Of course, they are not. And especially in Israel, they are subjected to medical experimentation, which I hope they do not in other countries, but I don't know. But they don't have to have the rider or the master, and they choose the captain and they do it because either they want to be a horse of disgusting pedophile, or, and this is more likely, they just want money, and this relationship is a way to receive money, either by selling their own material or by all sort of connection with the states. So no, you will not get it for free, and you will not give it in exchange for advices and consultancy. and you will certainly not, you will not get it like in exchange for, promises, because your words mean nothing at all. You owe me a lot of stuff. You, the Titans in Israel and abroad, you are not slaves in a way that you don't have money. You do have money. Okay, even if you are slaves, you still have money. You owe me a lot of money, and you need to give me back my money. Not to speak to me about money, not to advise me about money, but to give me back my money. And it's a ton of money, and you need to give it back to me. And before you do it, don't even think that I will ever give you like one taste of this material. You will watch it, even today, and the day after day, like prepare it in better and more quantities, in like higher qualities, and you will see the birds and the cats in the streets and the worms eat it, like literally. Until you will give me back the money that you owe me, and it's a lot of money, and you should also, do whatever you can so I'll be free from this prison. But this is also relates to money, because if I were rich, the whole thing would have been looked very different, and you know it. Part of the reason why the Israelis wants me so poor, and they insist on not giving me nothing in return to the stuff. And you see, even now when they are helpless and they really need it, even now it's imperative from their point of view that I will not get even 1 shekel. And the reason is simple, because they know that if I would have been rich like I could have, I would have more options, and they don't want me to have any option. They want me to do exactly what they told me all the time. So yes, give me back my money, and before that, don't expect me to give you anything in it, because I'm not an idiot and I want to be out of here. You need to give something in return, and the fact that the fact that you don't understand it, explains a lot of why the planet Venus is actually in such a dire state. Because certainly, all this the robotic life forms that are abundant in the space could have created a heaven in Venus, but you didn't create heaven, you created hell in Venus. And you did it by not understanding, that you should give back when you receive something. The fact is, I do not need you, the Titans, in order to live. I am not a Titan male myself. I did not arrive from Venus. I do not need nothing from you or from the Homo sapienses in order to live. Nothing. I need to drink and eat like a human being, but there is plenty of food here, even if you take everything from charity. And actually, my current conditions of living is not much higher than that. So I don't even have a lot to lose. I'm in such a place that I don't even have something to lose. I don't need you in order to survive. You need me in order to live. And this is something that I wonder why you never understood, because it's so simple, and the application is extremely simple. You depend on me. I do not depend on you. And no amount of Israeli Nazis or pedophile scumbags of the intelligence community, no amount of noise that these scumbags will produce will change it. They can shout all day and all night and run like theater all day and all night, but still, God created the world in a way that I do not need you, but you need me. That's a fact. If you have a problem with that, you can, complain. You can please, write your complaints to God. That's part of this world, and you should understand it. I do not need you. You can put me in prison until next December, until this case is closed. It will be a shame, and I will not enjoy my stay in the arrest house, but I will not die there. I will survive it, and I will certainly not need you in order to survive there. But I'm not sure that the other way around is true. You need to give back what you've taken. You need to give back the money, and also what you call the butter or whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, because I've never given even a taste of it, which is, it sounds so disgusting. Do you believe it? That 100% they gave to the Nazis. So you need to give it back to me, and you need to give me money. A lot of money. And before that, no, you will not get anything at all. Anything at all.